Welcome to the mid-game guide.
This video applies to people who have dragon armor. Check out my early game guide if you haven't yet, baby. So much of Skyblock's progress is based on the mayor that is currently in office. Before I get into anything specific, I'm going to be talking about the dailies that you need to be doing. For those who don't know, dailies are simply things that basically like reset once a day that you need to do in order to progress in the game. The list of dailies goes as follows. We've got heavy pearls, NPC buying dandelions, NPC buying packed ice and ice, NPC buying fish, salmon, and pufferfish, your experimentation table, dwarven mines and crystal hollows commissions, your daily faction quests, daily mini bosses for rep, and optionally you could do daily dungeon runs for Kata XP. The first like 5 is boosted or something. Your dailies should be your first priority when hopping on for the day, so do those and then move on to other things. Once you actually get dragon armor, you shouldn't even be thinking about dungeons. It's time to start farming. Rush fermento armor as soon as you can, and then grind up burning spores for 4 rooteds on your equipment. I know garden just got nerfed, but you still need to do it and it still makes good money. Once you get fermento and rooted equipment, only focus on visitors, as up here. Not only do you need thousands of copper, but visitors are the only way to get rare garden drops like overgrown grass and green bandana, and this will help level up your garden. While you're spawning your visitors, you could grind up the ingredients required for the fermento artifact, as well as grind up money for cookies. Once you get full bustling on your armor, spend all your copper on green thumb. Also try your best to get as many unique visitors as you can. You'll be farming for all of your cookies while you progress in mining.
Okay, enough farming.
To progress from this point, I want you to be farming 50. Once you're farming 50, you can do other parts of the game. However, if there's a 3-perk marina, you are legally obligated to fish the entire time. None of the other mares matter as much as marina. Now that we're done talking about farming, we can talk about mining. You should have been doing your daily dwarven mines commissions for some bonus Heart of the Mountain XP. So I'm assuming you're about Heart of the Mountain 5 at this point. Get a jungle pick from Adawa as soon as you can. You could locate her using wishing compasses in the jungle as long as you don't have a jungle key in your inventory. With the jungle pick, full glaciite in Heart of the Mountain 5, you can start grinding hardstone for flamebreaker armor. You should use armadillo for most of the work, and during Gone with the Wind events, you can manually mine facing the wind and insta-break hardstone. When it's not Gone with the Wind and you don't have any energy in Dillo, you can grind parts for nucleus runs. That is how you'll be leveling your Heart of the Mountain, is through nucleus runs. The only commissions you'll be doing are Boss Corleone and nucleus run commissions. Before you start doing nucleus runs, you'll want to grind up a stack or so of jungle keys for the amethyst crystal. I'd also recommend getting your Yogis for Yogg during the battle boss fight, and hopefully you could drop a pet. And then there's the dreaded sapphire crystal. This crystal takes longer than all of the other crystals combined, but you have to do it! With wise glaciite dark goggles and a dreadlord sword, as well as a god pot cookie, you could hopefully 1 or 2 tap the automatons, and what will end up happening is you'll get 5 out of 6 parts. You'll want to quit the game, you'll want to delete your Ironman profile. It happens to everyone. Trust me, you are not alone. 17, 19, 22, 23, 33, 1. You are not alone. In my opinion, this is the most painful part of mid-game Ironman. Your first few nucleus runs could genuinely take hours, so don't feel like it's just taking you a long time. Everyone has to go through it. All you'll want to focus on for now is doing nucleus runs till you have 24 Devon frags and 4 Jade Emeralds. If you reach Heart of the Mountain 7 before getting everything, unlucky, you gotta do more. If you get everything and you're still Heart of the Mountain 6, then just do easy commissions like 1,000 Jade or whatever, and daily comms to level up. Once you hit Heart of the Mountain 7 and you have all your frags and all your Jade Emeralds, it's time to start powder grinding. I'd recommend getting about 2 mil and then taking a break and grinding for your gauntlet. Try to time the gauntlet grind with a mining fiesta, and if you can't, just do it over a few hours. You'll be grinding the ruby with a Piconimbus, because gemstone drill is downtime, and you should have plenty of Piconimbuses from your nucleus runs. With full Yogg and Piconimbuses, you should be able to get the ruby in about 10 hours. Maybe more, maybe less. And the time will be halved if you can manage to do it during a fiesta. And once you have gauntlet, yippee! It's time to go back to powder grinding. Use a jungle pick in the jungle in order to get sludge for your Devon armor. If you're feeling extra crazy, you could even grind up an artifact of power. So much fun. Get at least 4 mil powder to start mining, but it's really better to be about 6 mil for the additional mining speed. And also having peak 7 is very nice for powder buff and sky mall at the same time. I have powder buff 50. Try to make sure your forge is always running with mixtures until you get full Devon and optionally artifact of power. I'm saying optionally, but you really should get it. I mean, it is kind of required for a max setup. I mentioned this earlier, I'll mention it again. Fish during every marina. You want fishing 27 with a magma rod before you start worm fishing. I fished 11 chambers with a starter lava rod, and I will never do it again. Once you get fishing 27, fish up your chambers for Devon. You'll need 20. That's also 20 mixtures. Next is pretty obvious. You're just gonna literally mine perfect topaz, perfect jade, flawless amber. I'd say perfect amber after you get 655, and I'm not going to be talking about 655 this video because it's dummy expensive. Until you get ether warp, you're going to want to mine ruby.
Talismans.
Talking about talismans is kind of a tough thing, so I'm just going to go through a lot of the very important ones you should have. Bat artifact, candy relic, razor sharp shark tooth necklace, personal compactor and personal deleter max. Hey, Hawk Johnson, what's up, dude? Jacobus register, titanium relic, melodies, hair experience artifact, cheetah talisman, and exquisite ring of love. The rest that you should have are rare or lower, and there's way too many to list. Moral of the story: get talismans. Now it's time for E-Man Slayer, baby. I've already shown in a video doing tier 2s with dragon armor and rock pet, so watch that video if you haven't. It's really easy. You'll want to be using a good weapon, and I haven't really mentioned like how to get a good weapon really. I haven't mentioned AOTD, so I'm assuming you have nothing, therefore you can't do tier 2s. So do tier 1s in order to get a void edge, and once you get a void edge, start doing tier 2s. You could also go mage. You could get like a fire veil, not a fire veil. You could get a fire veil, a aurora staff. That's what it's called. Yeah, you can get aurora staff, and you could do them really easily. And by this point in your profile, there will have probably been Scorpius elected as mayor. Hopefully, you could have gotten a Midas staff. Alright, if it was early, hopefully you could have farmed for it. If it was late, you could have mined for it. If it's coming up, you could wait to do E-Man until you have Midas staff. Midas staff is so good. If for some reason you're a big noob and you can't get your hands on a Midas staff, you could try doing tier 3s with 25k kill, final destination, and void edge. You could also try to use fire veil with zombie soldier cutlass to heal, like stun bud. And if you don't like doing any of the 3 ways that I listed, do tier 2s to get a juju. The quartz and obsidian should only take about 6 hours to mine in full, and then you'll have your juju. And finally, you could start dungeons. You'll be doing dungeons with juju and dragon armor. You won't honestly do that much damage, and you'll die pretty quick. And kata level is really the only thing that matters. Try your best to get through the early floors and then start running F5 as soon as possible. You'll want to drop Shadow Assassin boots, leggings, and chestplate, and 16 overload books. For a helmet, you'll want to use Terra Helm. I've talked about Scorpius. I have not talked about Derpy. For a Derpy, all you want to do is forage. At least that's my mentality. All of the other skills can be grinded in different ways. Foraging cannot. So you do it during Derpy, because Derpy is the only mare that could ever boost foraging XP. You'll want to get Mastiff armor for Wolf Slayer if you really want to. And it's also good for Campfire God badge. And then during a 3-perk Aatrox, you'll want to get Spider 9. And then after that, you can grind Wolves. Overflux is so good and helps so much for E-Man. For Zombie Slayer, I mean, you'll want to start doing tier 5s as soon as possible. A lot of this stuff's pretty self-explanatory. Kill the mob, spawn another boss, and kill it. But yeah, you'll want to grind up a Wand of Atonement from Zombie Slayer. Yeah! And you can use the extra Viscera for a Devouring and Zombie artifact. Woo! Honestly, I think that wraps up the mid-game guide. A quick summary of this video. Do dailies. Fish during Marina. Farm, then mine. Then grind up about 450 talisman power. Start doing E-Man for a Juju. Hop into dungeons once you get the Juju, get Shadow Assassin, and then get 998 Slayers. And your Wolf Slayer is basically determined by how quickly you get Overflux. Thanks for watching, guys! Join the Discord! Join it now! Please! Join the Discord!